Hello friends, welcome back to the tetrahedron chemistry classes. So guys, it is my lecture 4th on microwave spectroscopy. But before going into the details of the content of lecture 4, I want to give you a review what we have done so far in the lecture 3. So if you remember, in the lecture 3 I have discussed the selection rule, and that selection rule for rotational spectroscopy, that is for microwave spectroscopy, according to the Schrödinger wave equation was delta J equals to plus minus 1. Okay, and after that I have discussed the relative intensities of the spectral lines. See, whatever the microwave spectrum you will get, right, for a particular compound or the particular molecule, then how the intensity looks like in the spectrum. So for this I have explained you, I have given you the formula. That formula would be your intensity directly proportional to the population of the molecules in the jth level, jth rotational level, to the ground state rotational level, that is n0, and that was equals to Gj was your degeneracy. Okay, and after that you have this exponential part, e to the power of negative Ej by kt. This I have discussed. Okay, and in that case I have also explained that how actually the things goes when the temperature increases, right? What will happen when that we increase the temperature, what will happen when the J value increases. All these things actually I have discussed, right? So if you recall, I already told you, see, when temperature increases, okay, this I have decreases, this I have already told you. In that case your population difference also increases, right, because it is in the denominator, right? And then I have also discussed the effect of the rotational constant B. I can change actually this energy expression to the this rotational constant expression, but right now I am not doing this one. So I was already told you that when the B increases, okay, and in that case your Nj by N0 decreases. Okay, these things I have already discussed. Okay, so when this population difference increases, that means the intensity of the light will increase, that means I will increase. When this goes down, then I is also goes down. Up to this point we have completed, right? The last thing which actually we left with, what, this Gj. Gj is what? Is Gj is your degeneracy. Okay, this is your degeneracy, and if you can recall, I have given you the formula for Gj, that was your 2j plus 1, right? And I have discussed few things about that. Now I am going to discuss this concept of the degeneracy in little detail, and it is very, very important, because in the textbook everywhere you will find the different kinds of the graphs, different kinds of the things, but sometimes it is for the beginners it is not very easy to understand what is happening in the book. So today we will see this degeneracy concept in pretty much detail. Okay, so what actually the degeneracy means? So I can write here degeneracy of the energy states. Degeneracy of energy states. Okay, and you know the degeneracy is what? It is simply shown by the Gj. See guys, what will happen? What is actually the degeneracy? Degeneracy means simply the existence of more than one energy states having the same energy. Okay, so that is called the degeneracy. So I can write here existence of more than one energy states, okay, having same energy. Having same energy is called the degeneracy. Okay, and this degeneracy actually the intensity of the lines, whatever the lines are there, intensity of the lines, right, they actually depends on the degeneracy. So that means if the degeneracy increases, Okay, so on increasing the degeneracy, the intensity of the spectral lines also increases. This thing actually you should note that. Okay, and one very important thing, this degeneracy correspond to the certain allowed orientations of the rotation relative to the fixed reference direction. Whatever the direction you will take, fixed direction you will take in the laboratory, that degeneracy actually will allow only certain orientation. If it is little difficult to understand what I am trying to say actually, so you can wait little bit, and in just a moment I will explain all the things here. So for time being, you should know that when degeneracy Gj increases, arrow going up, that means increases, the same time the intensity of the signal also increases. This you should actually know. Now see guys, in order to understand the concept of the degeneracy, we need to know about the two quantum numbers. Okay, we need the two quantum numbers. So first quantum number is actually your rotational quantum number. Rotational quantum number. I am writing Qn for this one, and it is simply shown by the J or represented by the J. And second quantum number we will need to actually explain the degeneracy is the angular momentum quantum number. Angular momentum quantum number, and this angular momentum quantum number, basically we will represent this quantum number by mj. So you need to understand these two things to understand the concept of the degeneracy completely. So see, what is the relation between the rotational energy and the rotational angular momentum? Okay, so see, you know, whenever, see for example, this is the molecule. Okay, it is a diatomic, heteronuclear diatomic molecule, and say it is rotating. Okay, and when it is rotating around your certain fixed direction, say it is the z axis, so this rotating actually molecule will produce the angular momentum, which is known as the rotational angular momentum. So what is the relation between the rotational angular momentum and your rotational energy? So if you represent that rotational energy by Ej, okay, and your rotational angular momentum by say L. So these two things are there, and what is the relation between them actually, right? So relation is quite simple. Rotational energy level Ej, that would be equals to square of the rotational angular momentum divided by 2 into I. Okay, where I is the moment of inertia. So you can call this equation as the equation number 1, but you should know the thing that this Ej is rotational energy, this is your rotational energy, and this capital L is your angular momentum, which is simply your rotational angular momentum. So guys, I am assuming that you must be aware, or you know about your angular momentum. See, basic physics you all know actually. Okay, and this I is your moment of inertia. This I is moment of inertia. So this is the relation. Now what now what is the formula for this L, rotational angular momentum? So if you recall my previous lectures or your basic physics, then this rotational angular momentum would be given by the L equals to square root of J times J plus 1, right? And this rotational angular momentum basically is defined or in the units of the h upon 2 pi. So you can write h on 2 pi. So this is how you can define the L. So this is you can call this this as equation number 2. So these two things actually you should know. Okay. Now, and one more important thing, this L actually, this L is actually what? It is a vector quantity. This L is a vector quantity. So since it is a vector quantity, so it is having magnitude and also it is having the direction, because these two things are very important for us to understand the things completely. Okay, And say for example, what I can do actually, I can write this equation in that form: L equals to square root of j times j plus 1, and what I can do, I can write here units. So what is the meaning of the units? Units is nothing but it is simply your value of the h cross, and h cross is what? H on 2 pi. As I already told you that this angular momentum actually is this rotational angular momentum actually is defined in the, is quantized, not defined actually, is quantized in the units of the h upon 2 pi. So we can write h on 2 pi. H on 2 pi means it is this angular momentum is quantized in this particular unit. Okay, so this equation you can call as equation number 3, and don't forget your j is what? Rotational quantum number. This j is a rotational quantum number. These things you should know actually. Now see how we can actually decide, see if your angular momentum is there, right? So how we can predict the direction, right? How we can predict direction of this L. So for this I am giving you a simplest thing. See guys, here I have taken this z axis. So this is my z axis, and this z axis we can call it as axis of rotation. Say this is axis of rotation. This is our reference axis, rotation at center of mass, center of mass. So this is your z coordinate. Now guys, you are having a heteronuclear diatomic molecule. You can say this is your 1, this is 2, this is a heteronuclear diatomic molecule. Okay guys, and say this molecule around this axis z. So you should know this thing. Yes, so this is your z axis, okay, and this molecule is rotating around this z axis. You should know this thing, okay. So you can follow my cursor. This is how it is rotating, okay. And for timing I am telling you that it is rotating, say, anti-clockwise direction. It is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, okay. When it is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, then definitely it will actually create your angular momentum, rotational angular momentum. So what would be the direction of the rotational angular momentum? So to predict the direction, see, if you want to predict the direction of L, for this you can use right hand curl rule. Right hand curl rule, okay. So if timing, see, later on I'll show you the slide also, okay. So it is rotating in that manner. See, this molecule is rotating in that manner, and in that case, when it is rotating in that manner, then the direction of the rotational angular momentum would actually align with this z axis or the z axis, okay. And what would be the magnitude of the z axis? That magnitude would be fixed, and later on we will see how we can decide that magnitude. So what I can do here, I can write in that manner. So this is my L. This thick yellow arrow, okay, this thick yellow arrow, it is a magnitude of L. This is magnitude of L, okay. This is anti-clockwise direction. Remember, see, so molecule is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, right, in that manner which I have shown you. And this motion, actually this motion of this heteronuclear diatomic molecule, okay, that will give you the angular motion, and this angular motion will generate your angular momentum, right. And that angular momentum is what? Which is in yellow in color, right, and whose direction is predicted by the right hand curl rule, as I have shown you here. And whatever the length of the arrow we will actually make, okay, and that length would be directly proportional to the magnitude of the angular momentum. This is something very, very important to note that. I hope this is clear to you. Now see here, see this is your right hand curl rule. See this is your right hand curl rule, and in that case I can show you. See, you see this movement is what? This is anti-clockwise. So these fingers actually are going in the anti-clockwise direction, okay. So this is the rotation of the molecule, and this thumb actually is showing the direction of the your L, angular momentum, okay. So right hand curl. Now say your molecule is rotating in that manner, which is actually in the clockwise. See previously you can see here it is in the anti-clockwise direction. Now suppose your molecule is rotating in the anti-clockwise direction, sorry, clockwise direction. So what would be the direction of the this? Say this was anti-clockwise motion. Now you can think of if your molecule is rotating just like that in the clockwise direction, okay, then what would be the direction? See, this is your z axis. Then what would be the direction of this angular momentum, rotational angular momentum? Then definitely it would be down the bottom side, okay. So this is how we can predict the direction. This can also be predicted by the right hand curl rule. See how? So this is the picture you can see here, and in this picture if you are able to see this is your anti-clockwise rotation of the molecule, right? And these are the fingers, and this thumb actually is showing the L, direction of the L. Now your molecule is rotating in the clockwise direction, you can see, okay. When it is rotating in the clockwise direction, then obviously your thumbs will go down. Then this would be your direction of your L. So this right hand curl rule is very, very important to know the direction of the direction, or say the orientation of the angular momentum, okay. Now the next thing actually which you should know, say for example how many orientation that angular momentum vector can take place, or can take actually. So this is something very important. I am writing here orientation or the direction, okay, of angular momentum vector, that is L vector, in space. In space, this is something very, very important. How many direction this L vector can take place? So guys, first of all you should know this thing. Along with the magnitude, the direction of angular momentum with respect to z axis is also quantized. This is something very, very important. So here I am writing a very important for you. The molecule which is rotating, cannot orient itself in any direction by its own. That means it cannot take any arbitrarily orientation with respect to the z axis, because this angular momentum L is actually what? Quantized. So right, see so how we can actually decide the component of the L vector along a given reference direction is given by the angular momentum quantum number. So whatever the direction it will take, whatever the orientation that L vector will take, it would be decided by the angular momentum quantum number mj. So whatever the direction this L vector will take, that would be decided by the mj. And what mj can take place? You know, mj can take place any value starting from minus j to plus j. So guys, this is, see you can recall in that manner, you are having your azimuthal quantum number. Say you are having your azimuthal quantum number, that is L, okay, and for this you are having your magnetic quantum number. Say if it is actually 0, it is also 0. If it is 1, it was minus 1, 0 and plus 1, right? It was just like that. You have studied these things in your plus 2, okay. So the same thing will happen here. So what I am trying to say here, thus this angular momentum vector will not actually orient itself in any random direction, and the direction of the orientation of the angular momentum vector would be decided by the angular momentum quantum number, that is mj, and mj can have only certain fixed value, and that value goes from the minus j value to the plus j value. This is something very important, and this can also be proved mathematically, but I am not going to discuss those things here because they are not very important for the SIR NET GATE or say other competitive examination. So how actually the orientation, whatever the orientation of L vector, how we can calculate orientation of this vector. So for this you are having the simple formula I am writing for you. Orientation of L vector, that would be equals to degeneracy, that is Gj, and Gj formula you are having 2j plus 1, and that would be decided by the m value going from minus j to plus j. So this is the theoretical part. So what I am actually trying to say, you can see here, say case 1, I am taking the case 1 here. So I need some space, so I am erasing this one. Okay, so I have erased that part. So say if you have the j value of the 0, okay, so in that case your degeneracy Gj would be equals to what? 2j plus 1, and what it means, 2 into 0 plus 1, that would be 1. Okay, that would be 1 because j is 0, so I have put it 0 here. In that case your system is non-degenerate, there is no degeneracy, non-degenerate. Okay, now second thing, say this was the case 1, or in that case if you want, then what would be the value of the mj? Mj would also be 0. You can recall your value of the azimuthal quantum number and magnetic quantum number in your basic chemistry or in your basic physics. Now what I am trying to do, that now I am changing that j value from 0 to 1. Okay, then what it means, you can calculate the degeneracy Gj, that would be equals to 2j plus 1. Okay, this time your j is 1, so you can write 2 into 1 plus 1, and that would give you 3. 3 means system has threefold degeneracy, and you can call it as triply degenerate. Triply degenerate. So what is the meaning of the triply degenerate? So triply degenerate means whenever you have 3, that mean your mj quantum number, right, which is your angular momentum quantum number, it can have total 3 values. It can have total 3 values, and that 3 values will go from minus j to plus j including 0 in it. So what was the value of the j here? 1. So you can write minus 1 here. 0 is already there, and this is plus 1. So this mj is having threefold degeneracy 3. What it means? That means it can have 3 values of your mj. That means 3 different orientation of your angular momentum are possible in that case, right? And that would be actually shown by the magnitude of minus 1, 0 and plus 1. This is what actually I am trying to explain. Okay, now see in that case, if you see what would be the magnitude of your angular momentum, right, your rotational angular momentum. So if you want to calculate the angular momentum, so magnitude, so I can write here magnitude of L vector. So you know L vector is what? L is given by square root of j into j plus 1, and it is quantized in h upon 2 pi units. And in that case, if you calculate under root, the value of the j was 1, that means again 1 plus 1, that will give you under root 2 units. Under root 2 units. So this under root 2 multiplied by the h on 2 pi is the magnitude of your L vector. This is something very, very important. Now how we can show in the picture these things, how we can show in the picture. So I am showing you, say for example, say this is your reference axis of lab, reference fixed axis, and that is Z. Okay, and in this Z axis actually, right, I can write the value of the mj. So your mj, or simply you can say the j on Z axis. Okay, and if you go back, so j is 0. See, you see here, j is -1, 0 and +1. Okay, so we can simply what we can do, we can actually write in the center. Okay, so this is the 0, and here you see this is the positive coordinate, it is +1, and it is your -1. So these are the three values which I have put it here. Okay, and don't forget one very important thing, your molecule is rotating along the z axis. Okay, your molecule is rotating just like that around your z axis. So how many different orientation it can take? You know, it can take the different orientation, -1, 0 and +1, and the magnitude of what would be the magnitude of that angular momentum? You know, magnitude is √2. So how we can show in this thing in the picture? Say this is the length of the arrow, which correspond to the √2 multiplied by h on 2 pi. Okay, and this is coming, say, here, and this is also √2. So it is not looking like, see, this one is looking little bigger, so I can fix it in that manner, and then it can have its third orientation, which is again of √2. So these three are having the same length, because length represents the magnitude of the angular momentum. So now you can see here, this actually, if you meet this line here, this will cut at the +1. It cannot cut this z axis anywhere around your +1, neither here not there. It will cut here, and again if you see here, so this will cut at this particular point. Okay, and 0 is already there, and molecule is rotating in that direction. So what actually I have shown here, your mj or your j values, they are on the z axis. Okay, and the vector L actually in the units on h upon 2 pi is taking orientation in the other plane. These are the orientations. So 3 orientation it is taking. This is the importance of your j value. Now say if you think, now I can take the next page. Say you can go little beyond. Say you can take third case. Say you are having the j value of 2. When you are having the j value of 2, that means your degeneracy would be 2j plus 1. That would be 2 into 2 plus 1. That would give you the 5. That means system is having 5-fold degeneracy. System is having 5-fold degeneracy. What it means actually, 5 states with same energy. 5 states with same energy. So in that case, your mj, okay, it will have the total 5 values, and that 5 values will go from -j to +j. So what are those 5 values it can take? So original value of j is 2. Okay, so here you can write -2. Another value it can have -1, then 0 is there, then it can have +1, then it can have +2. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. That means in that case your angular momentum vector can take 5 different orientation. It can take 5 different orientation. Okay, so 5 orientations are possible for this one. And what would be the magnitude of L vector? So magnitude, again this would be j times j plus 1 units. Units, you know, it is h cross, that means h on 2 pi. If you if you solve this little bit further, j value is 2, then again 2 plus 1, that will give you under root of 6 units. Now this time magnitude is increasing, so as the j value increases, rotational quantum number increases, magnitude of the angular momentum also increases. Now if you want to show this thing on the picture, how you can show, right? So again you can see, you can take this say this is your z coordinate. I can write z here, okay, and then your molecule is somewhere here. This center, say it is 0, it is 1, it is 2, it is -1, it is -2. So it can take 5 different orientation. First is this one, and say second is this one, and third is this one, and similarly the fourth is this one, and the fifth is this one, all having the same under root of 6 length. That means magnitude will remain same. Okay, now if you want, then this line would always cut at 2, this would always cut at 1, and this would always cut at -1, and this would always cut at -2. This is how you can show actually, right? So this L vector is rotating. See, now you can see here, this is only one direction. Okay, let me show you. So this is only one direction. Now you can see this vector is rotating around this one. Okay, so it will form a cone. It will form a cone simply. So how I can show that particular cone? In that manner. Okay, that cone which this one is rotating. Okay, then again you can see this one is also rotating in that manner. So you may have your second cone. Okay, and similarly, see, this is when this is rotating in that manner. So you can draw one more cone here in the negative coordinate, because if it is +2, then -2 is already there, and this is the center part. This part is the center. So in the center you can put another cone, and above that you are having one more cone, and then below that you will also have one more cone. So you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cones. 5 cones means 5 different degeneracy. This is something very important which you should know. Now you can check, see how we can show these things. Right, you can see here, whatever I have drawn here in the previous page, whatever I have drawn here, these two, okay, is this one and this one. In the picture you can show in that, you can see here actually. So in that case you can see here, this is +2, this is +2, this is +1, 0, -1, -2, all are having the same magnitude of under root 6. Okay, you know, this is the magnitude of your angular momentum. And see, if it is say if it is rotating in that manner, that particular one, so this will produce this cone, the +2 value around z axis. Now if it is rotating this +1, so again it will give you this particular cone, that is +1, right? This is the center one, 0. So this is this part which is a circle. Okay, then this is your -1 part. So this is another cone, -1, and this is -2 for last one. So this is the concept of the degeneracy. That means different 5 energy states are there, but they are having the same energies. And see, your vector, your angular momentum vector in this particular cone can lie anywhere, only in this particular cone, not outside this one. It can come here also. So this is the concept of the degeneracy, which is very important for any competitive examination. Okay, now say if you want to go a little further, then what I can do, I can solve some of the problems. So before solving some of the problem, I can show you certain things. Say here you are having the different j values, j is 3, and say here you are having the j is 2, and in that case you are having the j is 1, and say you are having the j is 0. And if you calculate the degeneracy for these, so degeneracy gj equals to 2j plus 1, that means 2 into 3 plus 1, that will give you the 7-fold degeneracy. If you have the j equals to 2, that means it is 2 times 2 plus 1 equals to 5, that in 5-fold degeneracy. And for 1, your degeneracy would be 2 into 1 plus 1, that is 3-fold degeneracy. And then you are having gj, which is what, 2 into 0 plus 1, that is 1. System is only system is non-degenerate. So if you are having the 7-fold degeneracy, that means you will have the 7 different states, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the 7-fold degeneracy, and this is 5-fold degeneracy, and this is your 3-fold degeneracy, and this is the non-degenerate system. So this is how you can solve the problems. Okay, so this is the concept of the this is the concept of your degeneracy. I hope this makes sense and this is clear to you. Now very quickly we can solve some of the problems which are very important for your GATE examination as well as for your NET examination, right? So how we can solve the problems and what are those problems? Say for example, you are having this problem number 1. Calculate the degeneracy, that is gj, if rotational energy level is given by say 12b centimeter inverse. Say this is the question. Now you have to calculate the gj. So how you can calculate? So you know the energy in the wave numbers, how we can write. Say in the rotational term energy, you know it is the fj. So I am doing the solution, and see you can simply write in that manner also. It doesn't matter whether you write the rotational energy fj or this nu bar j, it will not make any difference. And in my first lecture in fact in the second lecture, I have derived this formula bj times j plus 1. Okay, and now if you want to solve this particular problem, what is given actually in the question? In the question it is given fj or nu bar j, that is 12b centimeter inverse. So what you can do, you can write straightforward here 12b, that will give you your b, okay, and j you have to calculate. Okay, so you can write j times j plus 1. So b gets cancelled, and if you solve this, 12 equals to that will give you the j square plus j, or simply you can write j square plus j minus 12 equals to 0. You can rearrange this particular equation, and you see at this point actually you know little of the mathematics of your class 10th. So if you know the how to do the factorization, how to use the quadratic equation, okay, so these things are very important, because see I know the many students who have the biology background and they are preparing for the CSIR NET, but they actually forgot all these things, how to do simple metrics, how to do the factorization, how to do the simple mathematics involved in it. So they have the problem and they actually leave that numerical generally. Okay, so these things you should know. So if you do the factorization of this one, so how you can do that? J square 4j minus 3j minus 12 equals to 0, Okay, now if you want to solve this one, so j is the common in that case, so you are having the j plus 4. Okay, then minus 3 you can take common, then again it is j plus 4, that is equals to 0. That means you are having two values, j minus 3 and j plus 4. Two values of j you are having. So you can have j value of 3 or you can have the j value of minus 4. You know, see, if you go back, you know the degeneracy is what? It is in odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15 and so on, right? So if you know this thing, then this actually j equals to minus 4 cannot be your answer, and you know this degeneracy cannot be negative. So in that case the degeneracy is 3. So this is how you can calculate. That means the system is triply degenerate. So this is how you can solve the simple problem. So before signing out, I want to solve one more problem for you. Say for example, second problem you are having. See, in that case, so question is like that: the degeneracy, that is Gj, of certain rotational level is given, that is j equals to 11. That rotational energy level, j value is given a. Okay, and see if delta j equals to plus 1, calculate the energy of the transition. Calculate the energy of the transition, that means simply Fj. This is the question, say you have given. Now see guys, this question is again you can solve very easily. You know, degeneracy, that is Gj, is given by 2j plus 1. There is no problem in that. Okay, in that case this Gj is given, what is it? Is 11. Okay, degeneracy is given as 11, so you can write 11 here, right? Here you say it is 2j plus 1. So if you rearrange this equation, okay, so here you have 2j equals to 10 or your j equals to 5. So your j value is coming out to be 5, and it is the rotational spectroscopy, and delta j value is 1. So what it means, if j is 5 and transition is happening from where to where? J1 to j plus 1. You know, in rotational spectroscopy, you know, delta j can always be plus minus 1. Okay, so it is going to j plus 1 to j1 to j plus 1. So if j is 5, then definitely j plus 1 would be 5 plus 1 equals to 6. So this 6 you are getting here. Okay, then you know, your delta Fj, you are having the formula on the previous slide, Fj equals to Bj into j plus 1. So you can write Fj equals to B j times, sorry, j plus 1, to be j plus 1. Okay, so how you can see what I have written? Okay, it is Bj times j plus 1. So this formula is a little different. Okay, this is for your energy term, sorry, and I have to calculate delta Fj, right? When I do for a delta Fj, then my formula would be 2b into j plus 1. This is the little different formula. I have derived this also in the second expression. Sorry, we cannot use the previous the formula shown on the last page. So how we can write? 2b is already there, no problem in that. Okay, and j plus 1, you know, it is 6. So 6 2s are 12, 12b. So the energy of the transition in that case is what? 12b. While in the previous question you have been given this 12b here. This 12b is already given to you in that case. Okay, while in this particular numerical you have calculated this 12b. So this is how you can solve the variety of the problems based on this. Okay, so degeneracy is given in that case. This is how you can solve the problem. So this is the concept of the degeneracy, which is very, very important for you guys. I hope you understood the concept well. Okay, so if you are new viewer here and you are watching video for the first time, please go through the previous videos of microwave spectroscopy also, and other lectures also which I have already made for the CSIR and the NET gate examination. Okay, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe the tetrahedron chemistry classes channel, and do share with your friends also. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much.